So let's get started. So the first thing that I'll do when I buy a new bike is either I'll purchase one or go through the entire bike myself, and that's one of these climber manuals. Show of hands, who's seen one, owns one? I was hoping for more people. This is your Bible for your bike. There are some mistakes every now and then, but usually, like we do online, you can find forums that will show you exactly what might be wrong. There's a few in here that I ran into. What I'll do is I'll go through each section on here, whether it's changing tires, general maintenance, oil changes, and I'm gonna write down on a pad of paper exactly what size wrench, what size tool I need, and I'm gonna start laying those out. So I've got this toolkit. This one's from my BMW. I'm ashamed to admit I still haven't put one specifically together for this, but this houses everything that I need on my BMW to take wheels off, do an oil change, get to just about everything in that bike if I really needed to. That goes with me everywhere, along with a few other things for tires and general emergency maintenance. What we have in here is, we'll show you if y'all can get, it doesn't have to be a lot of tools. Now there's some things that will translate from bike to bike. I highly recommend getting two of those things, one for each bike. That way you don't have to remember to grab your tool bag out of one, put it in the other one, because you might have some things split up. Also, if you ride with groups, mark your tools. Not because I expect somebody to steal it, but I want to know that I got all my tools back, so when I need it, it's not accidentally in Keyshore's bag because I was helping him out with something. We've got zip ties. These come in small, big. These also come in stainless steel. If you can get some stainless steel ones, they can save your butt in pretty hairy situations. If you can't, something like steel wire, picture frame wire, that can actually run a long ways for you. Then we've got your basic wrench. I recommend a 3/8 wrench if you can fit it. 1/4 inch wrench isn't going to give you enough torque for your back wheel, front wheel, and some of those high torque plugs. I'll show you one. If you can fit it on there, and I've got one with me, somebody on our Facebook page posted that they stripped out the threads on a drain plug. This is a torque wrench adapter for any, it fits a 1/2 inch, but I've got steps that'll fit onto there. So when you're torquing something, especially you have steel bolts into an aluminum case, anything around your engine, make sure you use a torque wrench. Don't go by your torque wrist, torque fingers, torque arm. You're gonna give it too much. So these are little handy guys. If you can fit it on there, it packs in the GSA. It's not gonna come in this, unfortunately. We've got locking pliers, and then every socket that I need for this bike or my BMW. BMWs are nice, I'll say this about them. Everything is a Torx bit. I don't have to worry about finding some random things. Who's had a Harley Davidson? Anybody? If you've ever done work on a Harley Davidson, they use Torx, they use SAE, and they use metric, and you don't know where some of those bolts are gonna end up. So that makes for a toolkit that's very, very big, or you just take your credit card and that's it. So any questions on toolkits so far? I've got wrenches, I've got sockets, and I use hand wrenches as well as socket bits. Bits, what am I trying to think of? Screwdriver. I'll say this as well, this is another tip. If you have, who's got a Japanese bike? Yamaha, okay. If you look at anything on there that's a screw, it's most likely a JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard. If you use a regular screwdriver bit, and these bikes specifically, the screws are made out of butter, you will strip every single screw that you've got on that bike. Ask me how I know, because everything on here was stripped. A JIS screwdriver is what you're gonna need. They come in a few different sizes, but that is what's on there. If you ever see a screw with a little dot next to those splines, that's a JIS screw. So just word for wise. So again, this is my toolkit for my BMW. I've also got a tire plug kit, as well as a compressor, one of the small little slime compressors that's worked well enough that it'll pump everything up. So I keep my tire stuff separate, I keep my tool roll separate, and then any other small things which I might have over here. A little pocket utility knife. This goes a long way for pliers and everything else. Some of the other things I'll keep are Loctite, both red and blue, as well as everybody's favorite, because we saw it happen on the Oklahoma Adventure, is JB Weld. Now keep in mind, if you have this and it's been sitting in here, this needs to get replaced. It's only good, even unmixed, for about 1 year to 2 years tops. So if you've got an old roll that you've been saving for that one emergency, you're gonna get out there, you're still gonna have an emergency. One of the things I carry with JB Weld is a soda can, or more specifically, you cut up a soda can, you take that strip, wrap it around that tube, and then wrap some duct tape around it, because if you get a hole in your crankcase, JB Weld by itself will not fill in a very large hole. You want to cover that with something like aluminum, and then JB Weld the edges around that to hold it in solid.